So it's 6 a.m. and I'm in the critical care unit of Juneau Hospital. As many of you know, I've had an issue with my port since I got it. It's never felt like it was healing properly. I felt like I had a leash on the inside of my neck, often described it that way. I was told I was healing slower because I was on medication, I was older. 3 days ago, after hosting a dinner party, I went to just a very low-key birthday party for a friend on the lake. I said to that friend, I felt like I pulled a muscle cutting vegetables for the dinner party, and we laughed. But then the next day, the swelling began. I started getting really puffy through here. So I went to the clinic in Haines. We don't have a hospital. They told me I should probably fly to the ER in Juneau. They were suspecting I either had an infection with the port or I had a clot inside of it. So Tim and I fly here, gorgeous flight, but we're a little bit panicky, and we get to the ER. It's a busy night, and I'm told I'm not emergent. They don't have a lot of experience with ports. If it's an infection, they didn't want to push infection deeper into my bloodstream. They didn't have someone on the ultrasound staff, and they couldn't do a blood draw elsewhere. My veins were shot from when my infusion bled through the vein walls and destroyed the tissues in my arm. So I was terrified. My other arm, from the mastectomy, I'm not allowed to do a blood draw from. So I've run out of options. I was told I could have a guided blood draw the following day with ultrasound. The doctor then cracked a joke that I wasn't gonna die from this tonight. And so Tim and I stayed at the hospital accommodations, which are right next door. The following morning, I went over to the oncology unit and talked with my team and told them what happened at the ER. They were shocked that nothing was done. They set all kinds of tests into motion. I had an ultrasound of my neck. So, well, first of all, we thought it might be an infection, so they did this big circle around where everything was turning red. And then they did the ultrasound, so the gel made all the ink bleed, so now I look bruised. Tears were streaming. They just kept pushing on it. And then they did it 3 more times. There's a clot in my jugular. 6 centimeters long. 6. Learning that was a shock. But the clot had started here, and they think that it had moved up, and now it starts here and goes upwards. So I can't turn my head right. Can't turn my head right, although left hurts too. It's really hard to swallow if I'm sitting upright, which right now I'm kind of hunched so I don't put pressure on this vein, which relieves some pain. But it's very sore. This was not in the port, it's in my neck, and nobody bothered to check anything in the ER the first time. Although I have to say, my nurse was amazing. She knew we hadn't eaten all day, and she packed us up like all these goodies, including 6 eggs and packets of mayo and salt and pepper so that we could make egg salad to go on the potato chips we bought on the way to the airport. The daytime crew was amazing. Team of women that were absolutely incredible. And the doctor really went to bat hard for me. She had a CT to make sure that I wasn't having deficits going to my brain, because the day before I was sitting in bed and the world went dark just for a second, and then I came back. I was doing nothing but typing, and I would get dizzy and a little bit kind of sick, not nauseous, but anyway, a lot of weird things happening. Full week after my Enhertu infusion, it looked like faces were turning into Picassos. The features were in the wrong places. And yeah, that was wild. So was that the Enhertu, or is this the blood clot? When I went to volunteer for the fair, I spent 3 days judging different art categories, photography, 2D art, all kinds of fun things. But I'd start sweating profusely. And then when I was supposed to wear my wearable art on stage, I didn't know if I could do it. They had to get a second model to see if I was even going to make it. I swear, when I stepped on that stage, the fairy who made me make that coat made me into a fairy. And that's the only reason I got to twirl on that stage. But but I slept in the parking lot before I got on it, and then I went home and went straight to bed. I think things are going to get really busy in here soon. They're going to come in for vitals and all of that. So here's the plan. We were going to take the port out yesterday because that's causing the blood clot. Then the fear was that the blood clot could break apart and either cause a stroke or pulmonary embolism. I have my DNR orders in place, and it's not like I haven't been preparing for this day, right? But still a shock because this isn't the way I was anticipating things going. Tim and I were just talking about making plans for next year. And now I'm like, am I gonna make it through the night? So I have to live with this stupid port for another week because they want to give the blood thinners I've been on time to break this thing apart slowly. And if this clot is a chronic, meaning the blood thinners aren't working, that's actually the best possible thing that could happen. Then they can pull the port and the clot at the same time. So I think the scariest part in all of this, it's not the blood clot, because that's immediate and I won't know what hit me. But if I survive the port coming out, then what? Because I can't do treatment without another port. That means I'd be trying my third after 2 with complications. And I can't deliver this medication in any other way because it just bleeds through my veins. So that means bowel obstructions and a very long, painful death is quite possible for me. I just literally wrote you guys a note on Monday, it's now Wednesday, saying that I was going to start making videos again about our trip from Alaska. And I was really excited to start putting these things together again. So I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm really sorry for the back and forth. I still want to do it because I want the memories. So speaking of memories, I started writing a memoir and I'm at like 120,000 words. I didn't think I'd have the chance to get that done. But I've been keeping journals since 1980s. Already 7,000 pages of journals that I just had to go through and condense into a book. So I really, really want to finish that. I want to finish the Tim plans that he and I have made. Death with Dignity just was passed, not passed, but enacted in New York today. The irony. If we can get me home, I have those options when I get back to New York. But right now I'm in Alaska and I'm working with End of Life Options, which is a Alaskan nonprofit trying to get death with dignity, or here they call it MAiD, medical aid in dying. So I'm working with them to get the law passed here, not for me. It'll never happen before my time, but I don't want other people to have to face the things that I've had to grapple with and hopefully won't have to actually experience. So it's been a lot, and I'm super grateful for all of you just leaving me notes on my written posts. I've been religious about writing my email list. That website is kimcloon.com. You can find the sign up pop-up, and if you're interested in following me, that's the one place I show up every week. That's public, semi-public. I'm not going to be able to answer your comments below. I will probably read them all, but answering just takes me hours because there's so many of you beautiful people out there, and some of you answer my emails, and I just don't know that I can get through that either. So, but know that I love you, and that you being by my side through all of this has been the most miraculous gift. And yeah, hopefully I make it home to Haynes and I come back next week, get the port out. Hopefully we pull the clot. I don't know whether another port is in my future, and without that, there's no more treatment. I'm gonna end it there. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.